KitchenAid versus Crux. Who is gonna win? I think we know the answer, but I'm gonna test anyway. It's my first time using the KitchenAid and I am so excited. I got some tips from you all, so thank you very much for those who's commented. I am gonna make buttercream as my little test because I've not given myself much room here. Because buttercream can be quite tricky to make if your butter isn't the right temperature. I find that this takes a lot longer to whip it to a good consistency, so I'm hoping that this takes less time, but we are going to see. So I'm going to split this in half and mix. So I'm going to mix for 5 minutes, but I'm going to show you what it looks like at different stages. The first thing I've noticed about the KitchenAid is the cable isn't very long. So usually I have an extension lead on the floor under the table, but it doesn't reach. So I've got an extension lead like dangling in midair. But that is the behind the scenes for you. So I'm still getting used to this, so you have to bear with me. And I haven't used this in a while, so you'll have to bear with me on that too. Another thing to note is this goes down kind of smoother. I mean, if you stop it, it just stops. Do you see what I mean? But with this, if I let go, it just goes. So I'm really gonna have to get used to that. But let's put it on medium speed for both of them and we'll keep an eye on them. Another thing I noticed was the KitchenAid seems a lot quieter than the Crux, but obviously they were both doing it at the same time, so I couldn't really tell. The KitchenAid seemed to get less around the outside, in a way. It's spread further up the bowl, but it's a thinner layer, where here it's not spread as high up the bowl, but it's a thicker layer at the outside. I purposely didn't stop halfway through and like get the sides down with a spatula because I just wanted to see what it would do. But let's try the next step, which is adding in our icing sugar. So I'm going to add it in half at a time, as I usually do, and then we'll start off slow and increase the speed and mix for about 3 to 5 minutes. Halfway through, and I think the KitchenAid has taken the lead, but let's just add the other half in and go again. Right, now I'm going to add in the milk. I'm a bit unsure again. The Crux did surprisingly well. Well, it's not surprising. I've had the Crux for like 4 years and it has been a really good stand mixer. It's just the Crux was about 150 to 200. It wasn't that expensive compared to the KitchenAid, which was $449. So I know it's not always the case, but I just expected the KitchenAid to completely outshine the Crux. Last step, let's add in the milk and see where we get to. So that is everything I would normally do with buttercream. I've made it exactly the same. The only thing I've not done is put flavouring in, but that's because I'm using this buttercream on a dummy cake, which I'm just going to keep redecorating. So I'm not going to waste vanilla. As you can see, I've put exactly the same amount of ingredients in. I've mixed them for the same amount of time. What I'm going to do next is plate them both up and see if there's any difference in volume and colour. So bear with me and I will be right back. So they both look pretty equal. I'm just going to bring it close to the camera so you can see for yourself. So this is the KitchenAid. This is the Crux. This looks bigger because I spilt it all down the side. But I think it's the same volume. They look exactly the same colour. I'm going to taste them now though. And you may ask, why are you tasting them if they're both the same? Because I want to see if the texture's the same. Not really much difference. I think the KitchenAid is slightly silkier and silkier and smoother, but there's really not much in it. So what is my final verdict? I'm finding this really hard, and a lot harder than I expected. At the beginning of the video I was like, I think we know who the winner's going to be, and I actually don't know. I think it's KitchenAid, but not by a lot at all. And I'll talk you through my thought process. So they both produce very similar results. By the footage, hopefully you can see that the KitchenAid mixes things in quicker and I think better than the Crux. Especially, you could see with the icing sugar and milk, is that after about a minute there was still icing sugar at the top and there was still milk at the top. But with the KitchenAid, it mixed it in really quickly. Has that had an impact on the final result? I don't know. But then again, I've only tested buttercream. Would that be different with cake? Like, would it mix the eggs in better? Would it create more air? I imagine so, which is kind of the basis on what I'm awarding the KitchenAid as the winner on. There are a few other things though. So obviously the KitchenAid, as you can see, is a lot smaller. It comes in loads of different colours. It's just a bit easier to handle in terms of like lifting it up and carrying it around different parts of the kitchen. The bowl has got a handle on, which is easier. The Crux is very big and clunky. It only comes in the one colour, which is grey and rose gold, but as you can see, the rose gold has sort of worn off over the years, where with the KitchenAid I don't think the colour would wear off as much. The one thing that is really bugging me about the KitchenAid is the cable length. It's really short compared to the Crux, and it's just bugging me because I can see the wires like floating around in midair. Price is a big point. As I said earlier, the KitchenAid was $449 on sale. This was about $149, $189, something like that, but that was 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. However, I am going to give it to KitchenAid purely because I think it mixes the ingredients better. But this is very loose and it's only by a small margin. And I don't really know how to end this video because I'm a bit shocked myself. And on that note, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've liked it or found it useful. If you have, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next week for another video. Thanks for watching. Bye!